DisturbingPuppet, and today we're going to play Adeptus Titanicus Dominus, which is an early access game still, so there are some early access issues. We're going to start doing the basic tutorial, kind of showing how the game works, and then I'm going to do a skirmish, which is just grabbing some points worth of Titans and fighting other Titans. So some background, Adeptus Titanicus, I did actually play the original really old board game. I had a friend of mine who had it with a bunch of old Warlord Titans it came with and the modular weapons you could swap out. I can't remember how many Titans we did in fights, but it was maybe 3 or 4 on a side, and just came with some city tiles and little buildings, cardboard buildings and stuff. So this is sort of an adaptation of that, but they're using some of the later epic rules. I wish they had kind of stuck more to the older stuff, just focusing on the Titans. I know they started originally with Adeptus Titanicus with just the Titan rules, with like the Warlords and stuff. They added the Reavers and Warhounds later. They eventually put out in White Dwarf some rules for super heavy tanks and things, and that eventually became Space Marine, which is the first version of Epic. And then after that came Titan Legions, which is when I first got into Games Workshop, which came with a bunch of knights and stuff, so they had rules for knights and infantry and tanks and super heavy tanks and Titans and everything all together all in one place. So this is just kind of an adaptation just of the Titans. I'm not sure, they might add some super heavy tanks or some other stuff later just to kind of check out or help fill in some spots for points, because you often end up with just some leftover points depending on the mission. So far it's only Imperial forces, but that kind of matches the way the box set was, because it originally took place during the Heresy, when you had Imperial forces fighting Imperial forces and Titan legions turning and fighting each other. So that sort of made sense, but hopefully they'll add some stuff in this. So we're going to do the Battlefield Basic tutorial, as long as it works. Just kind of show the basics of the game. It is an early access game, so I'm assuming some of the graphics and stuff will get a little better. One of the things I would like to see is the brightness. There's no way to adjust the brightness in this. But let me just quickly check. Okay, everything seems to be working for the stream. Good, good, good. After the madness of last time, I'm much happier now. Okay, so we've got our Warlord Titan here. Let's see if it's... yeah, it's actually not going to let me do anything until I go through the text here. So mini-map, overall map. Unfortunately, yeah, for the options, let's see if I can actually show, yeah. So we've got everything maxed out, but there's nothing here for brightness, and I do feel like the game is really dark for some reason. So we'll go through the tutorial, kind of show off some stuff. Then we'll do quick skirmish. So welcome to the Battlefield Tutorial Legate. This tutorial will introduce the key elements of Battlefield user interface and also touch on several important gameplay concepts. Early access note, yes, this is early access. Please note Adeptus Titanicus Dominus is in an early access alpha for those familiar with the development terminology. So yeah, it's still alpha even, meaning it is not yet feature complete and will be adding new features throughout our early access journey. We invite you to add your voice in our Steam forums if you have constructive feedback to share or particular features you'd like to see in the game. So yeah, overall, actually pretty decent. I'd like to see some streamlining of some things, maybe better damage information when you're shooting at enemy Titans, things like that. But yeah, overall, decent. So Adeptus Titanicus is a turn-based strategy game featuring interleaving activation. It's a translation of 4th edition Epic tabletop rules and set in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. So let me just quickly check something that I just thought of. Okay, I'm not an idiot. Everything's working okay. Actually, I might be an idiot. Each turn is divided into 2 phases, the Orders phase and the End phase. In the Order phase, each player activates 1 unit by giving an order, which is executed and the results are shown. Then the opportunity to activate a unit is handed over to his or her opponent. Retain the activation once. Note that you can choose to retain the activation once before you must hand the activation over to your opponent. If you have enough units, you can retain several times in a single turn, however. Doing so can leave you exposed, as your opponent may outmaneuver you if you have not run out of activations while he or she has not. Use the ability to retain wisely. The turn proceeds, passing the activation back and forth like this until all of you and your opponent's units have been activated, at which point the end phase occurs. It doesn't actually give you sort of a yes or no and it waits. It gives you a yes or no while you're moving, and if you don't respond, it just assumes it's a no, which kind of threw me off the first time I was messing around with this, and I kind of thought something was broken or messed up, but yeah, it just wants you to acknowledge it while your Titans are moving. In the end phase, your and your enemy's Titans may regenerate lost void shields, put out fires, and in some cases may even repair physical damage. The end phase is managed automatically by the game, taking only a few seconds. And this is something that kind of reminds me a little bit of like Battlefleet Gothic Armada. I wish they would add, and they might very well add, some additional stuff for specializing your crew, having additional crew in certain sections, like weapons, increasing your range or crit chance, possibly damage boosts or increased chance of repairs, increased number of void shields recovered per turn, those kind of things, and then maybe also modules that you add that give you some kind of bonus, sort of like Battlefleet Gothic had a lot of things that would modify your ships a little bit so you could specialize them. That would be kind of cool, I think, if they added something like that. Camera control is WASD for panning, Q and E for rotating. Alternatively, you can hold the middle mouse button to control rotation with your mouse. Let's review the screen's major elements. Top left, current, phase, and turn. Top center, your and your opponent's current victory points are shown. In most game modes, a player with the highest score in turn 3 end phase will win the game. Increase your score by securing objectives or achieving other victory conditions. The game does not check to see if victory has been achieved until the end phase, which gives players the opportunity to react and avert disasters within a turn. But Titans are very slow, so it can be difficult to react sometimes. At the top right of your screen, help text is shown. Many screen elements have help text associated with them that will appear here upon mouse over. This is particularly useful when you're viewing unit data, as the help text detail of each stat means. Right side, victory conditions available in the current battle. In your games, you can mouse over each of these for reminders of what they mean to appear in the help text area we highlighted a moment ago. Not sure if it'll work yet. Control central objectives, claim objectives for victory points. Claim your opponent's forward operating base for 2 victory points. Destroy opponent's most expensive unit for 2 victory points, or just wipe out everybody to win. For this tutorial, we've given you a powerful warlord packing twin volcano cannons and supported by twin apocalypse rocket launchers. You can see an enemy warhound approaches an objective directly ahead of your warlord. In Adeptus Titanicus Dominus, unit and target selection is achieved by left-clicking with your mouse, while movement destinations are chosen by right-clicking. Let's give your warlords orders, dismiss the dialogue, and left-click on your warlord to select it. So then we can also kind of move around a little bit, zoom in a little bit. You can actually see there's like Marines down here, it looks like, shooting at somebody over here, drop pods, yeah, different forces shooting at random invisible enemies. So kind of going in, looking around. You can kind of see it seems really dark. It could just be my monitor and where I'm at, but yeah, there's no way to adjust the brightness in this. So there's my beautiful Warlord Titan with lots of heavy equipment. It's the old style model, so it's got the curved carapace. Some of the later ones had like a really blocky shoulders. The Warhounds, though... So there's the Warhound. I can get a good view at him. They're using a later model, which the early models had kind of a curved wolf's head, which looked better. This just looks a little odd. I didn't really like this later design with kind of like the car sort of crew compartment look to it. But the Reavers look exactly like the old stuff. I'm not sure if they ever did remodels for the Reavers, but the Warlord's cool. Alright, select your Warlord. Well done, Legates. Let's review your available orders. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see 4 order buttons are available. Sustained Fire, Advance, which is the default, Double, and March. Titan that issues Sustained Fire order and has a target selected does not move during its action, but shoots more effectively. The Advance order enables your unit to move and shoot normally. Double enables your unit to move at twice its normal movement speed, but shoots less effectively. On a March order, your unit moves 3 times its normal speed, but it cannot shoot at all. Sustained Fire has a special feature. If no target is selected upon execution, Sustain reverts to Overwatch mode. This causes your Titan to forgo shooting its own execution order to instead shoot during your opponent's action, if the enemy Titan should move within range. Okay, next we'll move our Titan up the battlefield on the double, sacrificing some accuracy for greater speed. This will enable us to get far enough to capture the nearby objective. So you can kind of see the little marker there. To move your Titan into capture range, right-click to place a holographic representation of your Titan at the destination point, ensuring the amber ring covers the objective. Dismiss the dialogue, click the double order, and then right-click to or on the objective marker directly ahead, and you'll see the hologram with amber firefight ring. So we've got double. I can also look at my unit data. So this is dual volcano cannons, dual apocalypse launchers, my overall information here: damage capacity, void shields, armor, close combat ability, firefight, so close quarter combat basically. So we've got information. This is anti-personnel, whereas anti-tank, same. Volcano cannon's awesome for both. Range at 90, which is really good. Rate of fire, just one shell. Apocalypse launcher is a barrage weapon. Does it have anything on that? Vulcan Mega Bolter. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about barrage specifically to explain what that means. Range, pretty good. Damage, basically mostly anti-personnel, but good for taking out void shields as well. So we'll click, like it said, where it wants me to go. Good, now you can see the projected path to your chosen destination, as well as the capture ring indicated by the amber firefight ring. In order to deliver the Emperor's wrath upon the enemy, we must now select a target that is in range. Dismiss this dialogue, then left-click on the enemy warhound, directly ahead of your warlord. So this poor little warhound is about to get pounded. So let's see a little better. On both your unit and its hologram, you can now see range, line of sight lines drawn from each of your Titan's weapons to an enemy. These lines are green when it has line of sight and is in range. Unless I'm super colorblind, that's blue, not green. Maybe I'm super colorblind. If line of sight is interrupted before reaching the target, the line turns red from that point. If the target's out of range, the line is amber to maximum range and then red to the target. The range is also shown numerically. If the weapon's range number is green, or blue, the shot is well in range. If amber, you're so close to maximum range there's some risk of not being able to shoot. If red, you're out of range. The targeting tools allow you to see at a glance which weapons have a shot from the starting position and which would have a shot from the finishing position. The time on target between these 2 points is not visualized. You must make a judgment call as to how much time you think you will spend shooting on the target. So your shots are actually, as you're moving, you're going to be shooting at the same time. When both choosing your target and positioning your own Titans, a critical game concept is that of time on target. The more time you spend in range and in line of sight, the more you'll shoot at your target during the 10 seconds of order execution. If line of sight obstructing elements are in the way, blocking your shot at either move start or in position, you'll need to make a judgment call. Look at the line of travel from start to finish for each weapon and the intervening terrain between your unit and its target. As a general rule, if the lines are obstructed at either end, you will shoot less than is optimal. It is even possible to not shoot at all, which does happen a lot, actually. Sometimes the buildings, it's kind of hard to tell when you're doing stuff. Now let's see how your double order plays out. To execute the order, click Commit. The result of your order play out over 10 seconds. During that time, if you have set a target and that target is within both range and line of sight of one or more weapons, the weapons will fire. Yeah, and in this, you can't split weapons fire, so if I want to have some weapons shoot at one target and some at another, I don't have that option in this game. I'm assuming that will probably come later, or it might just be something they're taking out to streamline, but I would think it would be helpful, especially with a bunch of Titans in one area. You might want to have certain weapons fire one with shields to drop shields, whereas the heavier weapons target the ones that already have the shields down, stuff like that. Dismiss the dialogue and click Commit. Oh, I can also look at target data once I've selected a target. So we can see the Warhound has got 2 Mega Bolters, overall shields and health and stuff. Well, that's actually the only way I can look at target info. I can't just click on an enemy and then get their info. I have to actually have someone selected as my own unit and select the enemy to look at their target data. Probably that will change as well, I would assume. Hey, Real Mustard is checking things out. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's an early alpha game, but pretty interesting so far. So let's watch some devastation. Hammering this poor little Warhound. So then the Warhound's going to get to go firing its Mega Bolters at me, which will drop shields, but probably not going to do anything else to me. I'm not even looking at him. Like, I don't know what you're doing. No, I finally noticed. There are little icons here. You can see that one looks like shields, the other's armor if I get an armor save. Good work, Legate. Now let's discuss the results of your attack. Each shot you fire damages the enemy. You'll see its void shield stripped away before hits on armor occur. Any penetrating hits will reduce your Titan's current damage capacity, health, and add stress. If the stress meter reaches 100%, the Titan will be forced into an activated state. Let's cover each of these concepts in turn. Stress is a new thing that wasn't in Adeptus Titanicus, I don't remember, and was not an epic. I think they just discussed it a little bit here. Void shields, blue bar. Neither one of us have it because we just shot a bunch at each other and stripped our shields. Void shield is an energy field that protects Titans from ballistic attacks. Any hit on void shields will deplete them, as represented by the blue void shields bar. Once shields are completely depleted, the Titan is no longer protected, and any further hits will strike the target's armor. Damage capacity, red bar. Hits that penetrate a Titan's armor will cause damage, as represented by red damage capacity bar. You can think of it as health. If your Titan takes damage equal to the starting capacity, it is destroyed. So you can kind of see I've got a pretty decent amount of health. Actually, the Warhound has a pretty decent amount as well. I think it's just relative to your max, how big the bar is. Normal versus macro weapon hits. Titan armor is very strong. While normal hits can penetrate, they usually do not. This is why you want to bring macro weapons. Macro weapons are so powerful that Titan armor is typically half as effective, and then there are Titan killer macro weapons. These are so powerful they ignore Titan armor completely. Macro weapons typically have a low rate of fire, so they hit less frequently, but they hit hard. And that's what I like. Stress, Ember Bar, new feature. Yeah, so this is new just for this, and it's a little odd. Now, I haven't actually had it be much of an issue so far when I've been messing around with it, but I haven't played around with this too much. So, your war engines will suffer stress from the strain that enemy attacks put on the god machines and their crews. Your Titans can each suffer stress equal to the starting damage capacity. An amber stress bar will appear above your void shields and damage bars, showing how much stress your engines are coping with or not coping with. But it is hard to tell if you've taken damage. How big is the bar for my max health? Sometimes it's a little odd. It gets kind of big, and it's, well, is that my max? I'm not sure. So they need something there to add a little bit more information, I think. Any actual damage done further adds to the stress meter. When the stress meter reaches 100%, the war engine will temporarily shut down, becoming completely ineffectual, which is bad. In game terms, this means that if you have not already been activated that turn, it will be set to activated, like it's already done its turn. At the end of each turn in the end phase, each Titan will shed just over half the stress it's carrying and return to a fighting stance. So Titans that were forced to shut down in the previous turn will return to active duty in the new turn. Fine. Close combat, new feature. This was kind of the newest thing that they added. And it seems a little wonky. I'll go through the description and then kind of explain what happened with me. New feature. So far we've explored shooting combat only. Now let's discuss close combat. When your princeps find themselves in close quarter battles, you can initiate hand-to-hand close combat, whether your Titan is armed with close combat weaponry or not. Close combat is decisive and frequently deadly. Close combat often occurs inside of the Titan's void shields, which means any damage done completely bypasses the combatant's shields, hitting armor directly. Titans carrying melee weapons like the Titan Power Fist have a massive advantage in close combat and will relish it. These Titans should actively seek out close combat victims upon the field of battle, as Titan Power Fists do phenomenal damage when they connect. To move your Titan into close combat, select your target enemy Titan, and then right-click to place a holographic representation of your Titan on the toes of your current target, ensuring the fight ring covers the enemy Titan. Dismiss the dialogue, select the Warlord, target the enemy Titan, click on the ground, the enemy Titan's toes, and click commit. So yeah, with close combat, the issue that I've had is if I go into close combat, what you basically do if you don't have a close combat weapon is just sort of slam into the enemy, and then they slam into you. You don't fire any of your weapons once you're in close combat. So even though you have all these massive, destructive, powerful, earth-shattering guns, you don't do anything with them except just kind of hammer your enemy with them. At least that's what I do. Once I'm in close combat, I've never been able to get out of close combat, no matter what I do, and I'm not sure if that's just me or if that's something they just haven't added yet or something weird going on. The other thing is that if I'm in close combat with an opponent, I just slam into him if I attack him. But if my opponent attacks me, they fire their guns at me, and the guns do way more damage than just kind of bonking into each other. So it seems kind of weird. I'm not sure what exactly is going on, but it is still, like I said, it's an early release. They just added close combat. They're probably going to change it a whole bunch. We'll kind of see what happens in the future. So let me see. What do I have to do here? Select my Warlord. Select the Titan. Right-click on the ground. Yeah. So we're going to shoot as we go in. We're going to stomp right on top of the poor little Warhound here. So we'll shoot as we go in, but if you start in close combat, then you don't do anything. You just kind of bonk into the opponent. So here, a little hockey check. Surprisingly, the Warhound is still alive. I don't know how it survived that. And it does actually get to hit me back. Actually, it looked like I hit him twice there. So then end turn was restoring shields, healing, all that kind of stuff. Congratulations, Legate, you've mastered the fundamentals of Titan combat and are ready to command a full detachment of Titans and battle for the fate of the galaxy. Sure. So that was it for the basic tutorial. So I'm going to do a little skirmish, and that's probably going to be about it, but that takes a little while. So, let's see. There's a couple different ways I can actually go through solo play, tutorials, a simple skirmish. Basically, that's all you can do so far. They do actually have, under solo play, I think, scenarios, but I think these are just maps. I haven't actually checked to see if there's actually like specific objectives you're supposed to do. But I'm just going to do the simple skirmish, which will let me pick an army and then what I want to take, and then throw them against some enemy Imperial Titans. Okay, it is working. I'm going to check the stream again here to make sure it works. 4 objectives. Take and hold. Each objective... Actually, this didn't even have this before. This tutorial features an objective-based mode. It didn't actually have the objectives last time I played this. 4 objectives to secure. Take and hold. Each objective contributes 1 victory point to your score. First to 3 victory points wins the battle. Victory is not checked until turn 4. Current objectives and things to try during the game will be displayed to help you learn the game. Wait, am I doing the wrong thing? Yes, I picked the wrong thing. This is the other tutorial. I don't want to do that. I want to do the skirmish. That's what I want. There we go. Actually, this looks like the same force that I picked last time I played, which would be totally fine if it actually remembered that. So let me check and make sure it's still... Yeah, okay, everything's still going fine. I've had really weird issues with this game for some reason streaming. So this is kind of what I had picked last time and played. So you can pick different paint schemes, so essentially basically different Titan legions. There's nothing associated with sort of specials or special abilities or skills with the different Titan legions. So they just have a few of them so far, just different paint schemes at this point. But they all look pretty good. The blue is pretty cool. We go for the lighter one just because the map is so dark. It might help stand out a little bit. So what I did, essentially, if this is the same force I took last time, so you get to pick a Titan and then you pick your deployment. So we've got left flank, right flank, center. So what I did was I put a couple Warhounds out on the side, a couple Reavers out on the sides, a couple Warlords out on the side, and then just one Warlord in the center. The Warhounds are really fast, so kind of wanting to flank. The Reavers are fairly quick, so kind of moving up. And I gave everybody pretty good long-range weapons, except for the Warhounds. So for the Warhounds, you just have to cycle through all the different setups. They don't have an option just to kind of pick a weapon and drag it to drop in a spot, which I think would be a little better. But maybe for right now, just for ease, they just have it set up so you have to just cycle through all the different options. Yeah, so this is the choice that I took for the Warhounds was this combination with the Vulcan Mega Bolter and the Plasma Blast Gun. So the Vulcan Mega Bolter, basically, since it fires a lot, this would be something to use to strip enemy shields, so maybe using them first. It is kind of short range at 45. The Plasma Blast Gun's also kind of short range, but this is better once the shields are down, so I want to have a mix. I could go double Mega Bolters to strip shields, but then you have to be a lot more careful about how you use the units. So this just seemed like an easy choice. So this is just how you would place. You just click on the guy, drop it wherever you want. So I'm going to stick with this. So what I have here is 2 of these Warhounds out on the edges for flanking. Then I have 2, I think, this setup of the Reavers. Yeah, so we've got the Apocalypse Launcher and the 2 Volcano Cannons. So these are long-range, good anti-Titan weapons. I like the longer range stuff a little better, especially with the little lighter units, if I can. I can't actually take the Volcano Cannons on the Warhounds, though. And we've got the point values and everything right here for all the different guys you want to select. It's a 5,000 point for the skirmish, so see, I'm a little bit short to 75. I could probably play around and get this exactly if I wanted. And I'm hoping maybe at some point they'll add maybe some super heavy tanks or some other stuff for lower point values that'll let you add some stuff to rough things out to roughly where you want to be. Or maybe add some upgrades you can add to the Titans, things like that. So we've got different kinds of warlord patterns. It says Mars pattern, Mars pattern, Mars pattern. It should actually be different patterns for the different equipment. So there's lots of different options. You can kind of see all the different weapons. The Apocalypse launchers are kind of standard for the upper spots, just kind of longer range. So what I have for the 2 flanks are the 2 Apocalypse launchers and the 2 volcano cannons. So really good for anti-tank. So the idea would be to strip shields with the Warhounds, if possible, then hammer them with the Reaver and the Warlord on the flanks. And then just kind of in the middle, the one that I have has the 2, if I can find, where is it? It's the 2 volcano cannons and the 2 laser blasters. So these fire a lot. And have okay chance for penetrating anti-tank. So they're good for shields, just a little bit shorter range. It seemed like these were not shooting the same range as the Apocalypse launchers when I've used them before, but it says they're the same. I don't necessarily trust that, but these are pretty expensive unit. So I think we're all set. We're going to use the same force I had before, same kind of setup. So you could play around and make one flank heavier than the other. You could just make the center as tough as you want. But that's what we're going to go with. So objective base mode with 4 objectives to secure and 1 forward operating base per player. I don't think this was here before either. Take and hold. Each objective contributes 1 victory point to your score. Blitzkrieg, capture enemy forward operating base contributes 2 victory points. Destroy enemy highest value unit for 2 victory points. First to score 6 wins. Victory is not checked until turn 6. I don't think that was there before. The map seems to be kind of random when I've done this. So this is the enemy. As you can see, it's really dark, but there's no way for me to change the brightness, unfortunately. Ah, look at that. That's kind of scary. All right. So we can kind of see on the little mini-map, anyone that's kind of glowing is a unit that I've not activated yet. Yeah, so this is new too. So this has got... That must be... I thought my center guy was more expensive. I don't know why it's got him selected as the enemy to kill. Yeah, we definitely didn't have these objectives before when I played with this. So we've got objectives to capture, so that might change my tactics a little bit. So you have just Warlord, 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 Warlord. 2 Warhounds out on the left. That's interesting. Terrain is pretty open. And it seems like when I've done this, the map is random. Okay. As I do stuff and activate, it's going to kind of scroll on the left here for what's happening. So that'll kind of give us information when we're taking shots and stuff. When I move and fire, it does kind of zoom in on the unit that's moving. That's something you can change in the settings, and you can also speed up your movement animations if you want to, which is not something I have set right now. So if you want to, you can mess around with that kind of stuff. So you can kind of see the Warlords don't move very much. If I just want to do basic movement, it's almost nothing. Early on, we're so far out of range that it doesn't really matter too much, but I just want to capture some objectives. So like this, I can speed up this animation for movement. Right now I have it set, the basic kind of standard thing, just to show the game as standard settings. These kind of close-up camera angle is kind of cool when you're shooting and stuff, but sometimes it's hard to tell where you are. You can kind of see on the map the guy that was moving right there. So Reavers, you can see I can run pretty far. The Warhounds, though, you can run crazy far in a turn if you don't take a shot. So there's a little bit of cover here with the buildings. I'm a little concerned about the amount of firepower that's coming this direction. So we can just kind of barely run around. We can't go over a lot of the terrain, but it's hard to tell which terrain you can go over and which you can't. So we just have to kind of click, and you can kind of look at different options for movement. It's automatically going to pick the shortest. Which now it's not going to let me get where I was before. Oh, come on. I had that in my ring before, didn't I? That's a little irritating. Fine. We're pretty much out of range of each other at this point, so I'm not really that worried about taking multiple activations in a row. Yeah, hopefully I've got this. Mustard just saying, you got this, dude. I haven't actually lost a skirmish yet, but it's often very close. And I haven't had victory points in them before either, so that'll kind of adjust what I usually do. I've often kind of centered a lot of firepower on one flank and then been able to get in that way, but the objectives might make things a little different. So I try to flank with the Warhounds, but they're so fragile that I want to keep them in cover if possible. There's only this one pathway through I can't get around on this side, so that's really bad for the Warhounds. It's a lot more open on this flank, so I might actually run my Warhound all the way across to the other flank. Yeah, that's totally doable. Let's see where that will put me. Yeah, that's fine. So, like, comparatively, the Warhounds are very fast. Comparatively, anyway. I try to maximize my firepower in certain positions. But the number of warlords that are coming at me is a little concerning. So out here, let's see where we can get. Pretty far. Let's just haul butt as much as we can out this way. Still far enough away, I think we'll be okay for now. I'll try to get around behind cover next turn. I might tempt some of them over that direction as well. Let's see what the enemy Warhounds do. So he's kind of watching on the map, sort of shifting to the center here. Send him across the bridge first to take shots, maybe? Yeah, he might just run both the Warhounds right up here first, which is okay. If he wants to do that, that's fine. Might as well run at this point. There isn't too much reason not to. I don't think we'll end up being in range quite yet of anything, but I still would like to find a position that's got a little bit of cover. At least from certain angles. The buildings can get destroyed from Titan fire, though. So sort of hide behind the building here a little bit. So this is his guy on the far left flank. Looks like he's actually going to just run him across this little Strip the land, maybe? Yeah, sorta. Actually, do I have more Titans than him? I've got 2 left to activate. He's got 1. I might have more, just because I took some weaker units. Super slow Warlord here. Yeah, we'll just back up the Reaver for now. Very carefully watching where he's advancing. It's a little hard to see when you have this angle activated, so I'm kind of trying to watch here. Yeah, he's got this Warhound all by himself out there. He's going to be out of range, at least this turn, so maybe next turn we can light him up here with Warlord. All activations complete. Either that or he might just run him in trying to grab this objective, since I haven't quite captured it yet. Seems like it's random each turn who gets the activation. The first time I played it was very much I get it, then the opponent, then I get it, then the opponent. Since then it seemed like it's a bit more random, so it actually seems like it's making a roll to see who goes first. At this point I don't really want to go first. It's a little hard to tell with the terrain what's going to block, so I'm going to hold off there. We might lure somebody over that direction still. So you can see double movement is actually pretty good. I can still take shots at this point with the Warhounds if I want to. I can't actually tell. Is there a hill there? Yeah, there's a hill there. So maybe we'll move up, try to strip some shields from the Warhound in front. Nope, you kind of see nothing is in range. So even that is too long range. Just a little bit closer is what I would need for the Warhounds at this point. Well, I can't even target him to see. I'm just kind of curious what my range. I could also put him on Overwatch if I wanted. I could do the same with the Reaver. But I'm just going to edge forward here a little bit. Just grab the objective. Taking a little stroll. Actually, I haven't noticed. It gives you kind of a question on the right, retain yes or no, out here when you're moving. I haven't actually noticed it, but I haven't been paying that close attention. I haven't wanted to use multiple activations quite yet. So he's bringing up some reinforcements on that side, and this is a target that I probably want to kill if possible. Look at this, just anyone who goes across this bridge is just dead. So yeah, we're not going to do that. That seems like a bad idea. How far can we get? So even from here, I do have my volcano cannons can hit from there, but he's got his shields up, so it's not going to do me much good. It gives you kind of an idea of the ranges involved and stuff. So what I might do for now, since he is kind of a target, maybe just to burn the turn, I'm going to go ahead and put him on Overwatch.
Order received.
So then retain, yes or no. Why not? Gonna wait with my Warhound. Let's go ahead and shift my Reaver out as well to the flank. Mainly just retain there to show the retain, what you can do with it. It becomes much more important later when you can take multiple shots with multiple Titans. Use one to strip the shields, one to actually do some more damage. Where's this guy? Oh, coming across the center bridge like a crazy person. Yeah, that Warhound is pretty much toast. So what I'm going to do... Yeah, I've got shots of everything just sitting here, except for... You can kind of see as I move up and down, something might get blocked. So one of the volcano cannon shots might get blocked from this little tiny lump of terrain that's in the way. So maybe we'll move him up just a little bit. There, everything should hit. It's going to be a lot of firepower slamming into this poor little guy. So you can kind of see shields reduced on the left here. So all we did was take out his shields, didn't actually do any other damage. He's kind of moving out to the right flank. My right flank, anyway. Okay, he still has these guys to activate in the back that haven't activated yet. So I'm just going to focus on destroying this little Warhound here. This was my guy with the heavier weapons, so he's got the laser blasters up top. I might even be in range without moving. Should be. It's all blue here, so we should be okay just to light him up from here. One thing I want to check, though... Okay. When I was shooting before last time, it seemed like I actually would shoot my own guys if they were in the way. So I'm just going to light this guy up. So armor saved, hit, armor saved, armor saved. Which is armor saving is quite a bit. Engine kill! Kind of threw that Warhound away there. Where am I getting shot at here? Moving another person to the right flank. Yeah, high ground would help, but I've only had a few times where there was sort of an area where I could actually get up on the high ground. If there's a slope, sometimes you can get up, but it's really hard to tell looking at the terrain what you can get up onto and what you can't. And partially that could be just because, at least on my monitor, this is insanely dark. And there's no way to adjust that. So maybe in future. What do I have left to activate? He's got 3 guys left to activate, and I've got... Looks like my Warhound and Warlord. Yeah. Got that guy's on Overwatch. And even trying to figure out what terrain's going to block here is a little bit difficult to kind of see. So at least some of the shots should get blocked by this terrain if I wanted to move up in here, to then maybe try to run around next turn. Or at least have a relatively safe place to hang out temporarily. So if I want to try to move up, I can actually get up a little bit on this. That's as far as I can move up to there if I want to, but I want the cover. So we'll just kind of hide in the cover for now. Don't think... Yeah, there's nothing I'll be able to shoot from there, so... Just try to sneak around on the right here if possible. Wait, what am I looking at? Oh, this is my Overwatch shot. A couple Overwatch shots hitting him there. So you can see I've got a little bit of shield left. He's got some shield left too, but he actually took some damage. So I have just the tiniest amount of shield left. So yeah, I had left this guy in Overwatch, so he took some shots as he went in. And who do I have left? Just my Warhound, I think? So we'll just move up a bit and light up his Warhound. Shields are down. Armor's saving him so far. Oh, that took him out. The last plasma shot. I really don't like the number of these warlords that are creeping up on me here. He's activating first. I think, or does he have another guy? He must have another guy active. So he's really split up. We've got a couple warlords here on the left, 3 heading over to the right. So we might try to readjust and take on the 2 on the left here if we can. Yeah, so next turn, turn 3. Yeah. Yeah, Real Musters, you have so many dreadnoughts, you're blocking the sun out. Yeah, so many titans, you can't see the sun. Yeah. Warhammer Total War. I have not played Warhammer Total War. I actually have Warhammer Total War, but I haven't messed around with it yet. I haven't had time. I picked it up when that stuff was on sale. Just the first one, not the second one. So I definitely want to play around with it, that's for sure. I haven't played a Total War game since the very first one, the Shogun Total War, I think. So I've missed out on a lot of Total War stuff. Yeah, 2 warlords here on the left, so I think I want to try to maximize firepower here on the left. My Warhound here fired his plasma gun last turn, so he can't fire this turn. Not really in range to take any shots anyway. I'd like him to kind of advance one guy here, if possible, before I light him up. How far can I run my poor little... Oh, I can really go pretty far here with my Warhound if I want to. I can get behind the enemy! He hasn't activated yet, so he might be able to get an angle. Depending on where he moves from here, he might be able to get angles and shots on me. It might be a good distraction. I'm afraid he's going to put at least one of these guys on Overwatch, so I might want to do this now. Yeah, let's be crazy. Run, little chicken! Okay, so we've got a guy on the left flank moving up towards the bridge. Looks like he might be trying to take shots. Let's see. Nope. I'll move my camera around, I'm all discombobulated. So I did get a little bit of shields back here. I've got some range. I'd really like to strip some shields, so he moved this guy. Yeah, this is the one who activated. This guy still hasn't activated. So I'd like him to come forward. A little concerned about this flank. Maybe he'll go chasing after my Warhound. Probably get into range if I double time it. Just take a look. I know the building is super in the way. Yeah, I'm in range for the volcano cannons, but there's a building in the way. So I might have a couple shots from here. Yeah, possibly. Let's take some long-range shots since I've got a bunch of long-range weapons. Just to kind of do a little bit of damage to the shields if we can from here.
Executing your order.
Waiting for target. Waiting for target. Come on! There we go. There's some fire. Looks like I might have missed. I didn't see anything there. He's slowly trying to creep around to get to my Warhound in the back here. Didn't put him on Overwatch, though. I'm able to even sneak in and grab his base, possibly. If I can run far enough to have cover. Not sure I'll be able to get far enough. So if I pull back here, I should have some shots on the way. Yeah. It looks like I didn't even hit his shields at all. So we'll just kind of stay at range here. Take some long-range shots. At least hit his shields that time. That Reaver's a bit exposed. Okay, so this is the guy right in front, taking a few shots at me. Don't see anything there. But I've got all three of these guys here ready, and I can even use him as well to focus on this guy in the front. Can I find a spot with some cover and still get shots? Might have a shot from here. Yeah, we can try to strip his shields here with my Warhound. Try to stay back a little bit more. See if he can drop some shields on that front guy. Doesn't look like I hit any of those shots. Could be that this was blocking. It's hard to see how high. Yeah, looks like nothing. Shields didn't get taken down at all. That is very unfortunate. So he still has these two guys out here to activate. I've got just all these guys in the center. So let's bring my Reaver back a little bit. Take some long-range shots. Pretty much just the volcano cannon, though. At least we're hitting his shields. That's something. Just a tiny bit of shield loss. Where is this happening? I can't tell. I don't even know where that activation was that he was taking shots. It could have been here. Could have been him taking shots at my Reaver, maybe? So he still has this guy here to activate. If he comes this direction, I'd like to have both of these warlords hammer him on the bridge, but I don't think he's going to be that suicidal or anything. See if I can move out a bit. It's not really where I want you. It's not really where I want you. It's not letting me go any further back than that. A lot of stuff blocked there, actually. That is unfortunate. Just a couple here.
Executing your order.
Let's see shots hitting the terrain here. Yeah, just a tiny bit of shield damage there, unfortunately. Okay, he's actually moving him over to the right flank a bit. Taking shots at my Reaver here, probably. Yeah, my poor little Reaver. Kind of open from here. I wonder if I can get shots if I move far enough up. So if I were to go here, what do I have? Basically one shot and that's it. On him, nothing. That's kind of crummy. Like I said, when I shot before, it seemed like if my guys were in the way, they were actually getting hit by my own fire. So I'm a little leery of moving him up here to take shots and then end up pounding my own little Warhound here. What kind of angles do I have? Nothing. Nothing good at all. Yeah, positioning is really kind of the main thing in this. Try to just maximize firepower for now on this side. It looks like this would go right through my Warhound if I wanted to try to do that. So I'm just going to move him up and that's it. I'm not even going to try to shoot. The last thing for the turn. But now that we're in range, activating multiple guys in a row is going to be a bit more important, and who gets the initiative is going to be a bit more important. Okay, I get to go first. That's good. So I could either try to activate a couple guys over here to really hammer this front warlord and maybe drop him, or I could try to run my Reaver away from the advancing doom and death that's coming his direction. I could also try to run my Warhound into the back to capture his forward operating base. He does have a Titan who's kind of turned around looking that direction. So I'm going to pull him back and then retain, and then we'll do something on the left flank as well. So we're just going to move back as much as we can and take some shots as we go. And we'll definitely retain. Since I do have a lot of long-range weapons, I'm trying to stay at range. So I think we took his shields down. Yeah, so his shields are toast. But I'm not going to do another activation there quite yet. Poor little Warhound. What's my range like? So I'm in range right now. I could just light him up from here. Maybe. The terrain It's not showing the terrain blocking, but I'm kind of afraid it might, actually. Don't really want to get higher. I'll get more shots from the Warlord in the back. Could kind of try to run over. It doesn't really give me any protection from the second Warlord, though. So we'll take some shots as we go. Hopefully. Try to drop his shields if possible. Just a couple shots there. Unfortunately, yeah, didn't do much to his shields. Alright, who's activating? Who's activating? Okay. Yeah, I like having the longer range weapons in this so I can kind of try to do what I can. If I have to retreat and take shots, then that's what I'm going to do. So he moved him up, right? Hard to see on the map. I think he activated him. So I'll just keep hammering this guy. What kind of shots from there do I have? Some. Sure, we'll do that and retain, and we'll hammer him again. Drop all the shields, hitting armor. Armor save, armor save, armor save! So many armor saves! Did we do much? Not a lot of damage to him. Shields are down, though. It's just out of range of my Apocalypse launchers. They're not going to do too much damage to him, though. See if I creep forward a little bit, then second shots probably will hit. It's mainly the volcano cannons that are going to do most of the damage anyway. Armor save, armor save, armor saved. Hammering my Warlord here. Yeah, so we did a pretty good amount of damage to him. He's got a lot of guys with the plasma gun, so they can only shoot every other turn, so next turn he's going to be a lot less of a problem, but I'm still going to try to kill him. I don't even have to move. We can just light him up from here with the Reaver. Hopefully the volcano cannons will finish him off, but it depends on the armor rolls. Oh, he's dead. Engine kill, engine kill. So that was kind of wonky animation. And I wish when I got an engine kill it would kind of zoom into the combat. And it's probably something they'll add later. This is still an early version of the game and stuff. Oh, there's one of mine down. Just totally wrecked me. Oh, he's got two of the plasma guns, that's why. So next turn, he's not going to be able to do a whole lot. But we definitely want to try to focus on killing this guy before he can shoot those guns again. Who do I have left to activate? Not many guys, actually. Get lots of shots here. If we're lucky, we might be able to drop him. That would be nice, but I don't think we're going to have enough firepower to do it.
Received. Executing.
Some armor saves. Yeah. Damaged but not dead. What are you doing? He's trying to creep around to hit my Warhound here, I think. So his shields are almost toast. So he's not in a good situation. What's to do with you? I can't quite make it to the forward operating base. I could try to run around here to be in cover from these two. That's probably a better option. Just so amazing how fast and far they can move. I'm going to get further around here if I can, but that seems to be the best option I can get for positioning. So let's just do that and see if we can survive. Like running right by. Bye! Haha! So we'll see who gets to go first. Opponent's going first. It's not good for me. Just getting shots over the terrain here at my Reaver. Hang on! Hang on! Okay, he didn't die. That's good. Spin back around so I know what I'm looking at. That Reaver's okay. It must have been here. He was hammering, so it must have been this one that activated. So I don't have to worry about him too much. Yeah, he's already activated. So we've got enough firepower over here. We should be able to take him out, hopefully, with these three. Hopefully. So let's focus on killing this guy, if possible, before he gets a chance to activate. So we can just light him up from here and retain the order in case it doesn't finish him off. We can have the Reaver try to kill him. Oh, he's down! Kapow. Yeah, actually throwing that Warhound around the back really kind of screwed him up. He's got two of his warlords that instead of advancing have just been kind of hanging out in this back area trying to protect. Of course, I can kind of understand he's trying to protect the victory conditions and stuff. The objectives, that's a word I'm looking for. Objectives. I'd also wish that it would show you something with like the range on here, so I could kind of look at the map for when I'm thinking about where I want to move. Something that would kind of show me a bar for my maximum range, different ranges for the weapons, but hopefully it's something that they'll add later. So I was thinking maybe just putting him in Overwatch, but I'm not sure. His range is probably only to about here, I would guess. And they're so far away, it won't matter too much. My shields are coming back. Yeah, I'll kind of use my Reaver here as bait and see if we can draw him in. I think I'm far enough away that if he moves enough with the warlords, they're not going to get shots on me, at least this turn. So he's still trying to creep around to get my Warhound here. Trying to find an angle. So surprised he didn't go in Overwatch. I would have thought that would have been the better option because his forward operating base is right there. Of course, if I go for it, he'll just light me up and kill me anyway. But I could run over and grab these objectives, and that's probably the better thing to go for. Yeah, actually, let's just go ahead and do that. Let's grab that objective. I'm kind of expecting I'll be able to kill that guy on the left with my 3 guys that I have left to activate. Where the heck is he going? He's actually maybe trying to get an angle on my Warhound here now that he's in the open. So that was, yeah, he's kind of moving. Should be just a little bit out of range probably, and then I'm just going to run him over if I can. So we've got all 3 guys here we can use. So that's what we're going to do. Try to take the shields down first if we can. We'll have to move more than that. Let's just be crazy. Run right up. Running through the wreckage of my own guys. Yeah, so that shredded some of his shields. He's totally out of activation, so I'm free to light him up. Order-wise, I'm not sure which is better. I think the laser blasters do have good anti-tank, but there's a lot of shots, so we can take shields down. The Apocalypse launchers are, what is this, 4? Apocalypse launcher's only 2 against tanks. I'm assuming that would be the same for Titans. I think this is actually supposed to be like, since it says anti-personnel, it's supposed to be like a Space Marine. It kind of makes you think it might be a Titan, but which would kind of throw you off. But this is supposed to be anti-personnel. So I'm just going to use this one first, and then we'll try to finish him off with the Warlord.
Order received. Executing.
Shields are down. So I really hope that he can just kill him off here. Everything's in range. He's right out in the open. Don't have to move.
Order received. Executing.
Come on, die. There we go. It actually showed it twice. Opponent goes first, so my Warhound here might be dead, depending on what he does. Yeah, he's going after my Warhound. Stay alive, little dude! Stay alive! Hey, stayed alive! Nice. So it's turn 6. I think I can actually win in the end phase if I just run over and grab this objective. Do I even have to run? I don't even have to run. Can I get any shots as I go? No, everything's out of range. How far can I get and still capture it? Yeah, that'll have to do.
Executing your order.
So this is the longest any of my Warhounds have survived in one of these games, so I'm kind of surprised. So he's moving around in the back. Alright, it's my activation. He's activated everything, so I can do everything I want with all of my guys now.
One man is not an army, but an army must act with one.
Let's see if I can get any shots here. Just the volcano cannons, but that's fine. My bridge now. kind of get up here a little bit. I wonder if it'll give me any shots. Showing one, maybe. Shields are still kind of crummy. I don't want to have them super in the open. Better shots from there. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. He might become a big target, but that's what he's there for. Still my activation. I might have shots from there. No. Just a little bit out of range. A lot of stuff in the way. But we can go ahead and go up there for now. So next turn we can use him to light somebody up. Maybe, if the terrain's not going to block my shots anyway. So I think at the end of this turn, turn 6, score 6 needed, or destroy enemy units. So we should be winning here in the end phase. Usually when this is gone, it's like for destruction, so we've gone to the very bitter end, and often have just like one guy left, and that's it. I think the best I've done so far was having 4 Titans left after wiping out the enemy, but a couple of them were nearly dead. So actually having the victory points and stuff makes a big difference, so you can actually survive instead of having your entire force wiped out. Can I get in a position with some cover, just in case? That's a bit more open than I like. I guess we'll just hang out there, because I think we're going to be done here as soon as the end phase happens. The strut of victory. Yes! The Warhound strut of victory. Both my Warhounds survived. Amazing. Victory! 6-2. So yeah, that turned out pretty well. Like I said, the last time I played this, they didn't actually have the victory conditions and points and stuff in this skirmish scenario. It was just kind of to the death. So yeah, that's it. Let me just check. Everything seems to be working. Cool. Yeah, so that's just kind of a quick look at Adeptus Titanicus Dominus, which still is early access, but yeah, pretty cool so far. It has a lot of potential. I'm hoping they're going to add some more customization, some stuff where you can specialize some of your Titans. Maybe each of the Titan legions will have their own specials, special abilities. Maybe a little bit extra range with some of them, or certain special variants or weapon variants available to them. I'd like to see some additional kinds of maybe crew specialization that might give you some benefits for shield regeneration or repairs, or increased crit chance, or increased hit chance, or those kind of things, and maybe even special things you can attach to your Titans, kind of like the system they have in Adeptus Titanicus, not Adeptus Titanicus, but in Battlefleet Gothic Armada, which I kind of liked some of the specializations you could have for the ships in there. Something like that for this would be kind of cool too. But yeah, I'm really glad that I was able to do this and get it to work after all the difficult time I had last time with this and all the issues I've had with OBS trying to deal with this. So yeah, thanks. If you're interested in any other streams or anything, please check out my earlier streams here on Twitch. Just the last couple of weeks of stuff is here. Earlier stuff is on my YouTube channel as well, which is also DisturbingPuppet, which is one word. So I've got all kinds of different streams and things. And probably I'll be starting another stream of Warhammer 40,000 Gladius, Relics of War, playing as the Orcs sometime this week, most likely Saturday. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Thank you, Real Mustard, for hanging out and checking out the game with me. Hopefully I'll see you next time. So have a good one. I really appreciate you guys coming by. Hopefully I'll see you again.